If you're a New York team, one of the New York teams, not the other one, you're particularly happy. The KD belonged to the Brooklyn Nets, which I guess some people had speculated about because of his very close relationship with Kyrie Irving. It makes a lot of sense. And if you really start digging into it, it really makes sense given Rich Kleiman, his agent, is New York-based, and not only are they an agent-talent relationship, they're actually business partners in a couple of deals. And while the West Coast was enticing and it made sense for him to rehab out with the Golden State Warriors, he had a surgery here in New York. You know, we hit this a couple times, BT. It makes sense for a team, sign and trade. They were going to do with him a 5-year max and move on to wherever he wanted to go. But he's a New York guy. At least he felt like he was becoming more of a New York guy. You throw in the Rock Nation Jay-Z connection, which is heavily tied to Brooklyn. As we all remember, Jay-Z was one of the initial investors, or I guess whatever, owners of the Brooklyn Nets in that arena. Obviously, he had to divest himself when he started Rock Nation and started representing players. But when you put it all together, it kind of makes sense. When you look at it at hindsight, it's like, oh, of course that's where he was going to go. And then you couple in the fact that the Knicks didn't really do a good job. It makes all the sense in the world that Kevin Durant, even though he's not playing in 2019, would join Kyrie Irving with the Brooklyn Nets.
I get why the Nets did it. I'm going to push the Knicks to the second segment. This is about the Nets right now. This is about some other really shrewd moves, and a couple of moves I'm not really sure about, although I do think there's going to be another domino in Miami, whether it's Jimmy Butler. That was an odd one.
Surprised me from the very beginning.
Yeah, but you know, the one thing we know about Pat Riley, you know, just when you think he's got no dog in the fight, no real decent cards to play, you got the flop, he's still playing poker,
Right.
he's still sitting at the table.
Look, he's got one of the really good players in the NBA right now, Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler made it very clear, and I kind of respect this, what he's all about. It's not I got to go build a super team to win a championship. It's like, I got to get paid.
I got to go build that super account.
Exactly.
He didn't get the big time money coming out of Marquette, so he's been chasing a little bit. I have no problem with that. DAngelo Russell, Warriors doing what great franchises do. They very quickly respond. Now, whether, I don't know if DAngelo Russell's there for 4 years.
No, I don't think so.
He might not be, but he's a chip, and he's obviously a very good one. The 76ers with Al Horford, the Pacers. Remember when Oladipo comes back, he's going to miss the first month or two, but when he comes back, Malcolm Brogdon going to the Pacers. I mean, there's so many things here, but you do certainly have to, as you did, and I want to chime in now on the Nets here. You got to start with this. This is big. I mean, this is big for their profile. This is big this is big to the point where. And again, I'm going to push the Knicks stuff to the second segment, but this is big generationally here.
Agreed.
I mean, because we always have this discussion. Unlike the Jets and the Giants, and even the Yankees and the Mets for sure, Met fans are great, but the Nets were never even, like a remotely viable number two.
Because they were New Jersey.
They were Jersey.
Not that,
they had Dr. J for a minute. No, they were Long Island before that.
We live in New Jersey, so it's not like New Jersey's bad. But
exactly. You make it seem like we do live there, Tiki.
It wasn't New York.
No. It was a different profile. This could be the traction that, entices young kids. Listen, if I'm growing up in Marine Park, Brooklyn, like I did 25, 30 years ago, a little more actually, I'm probably rocking a Kevin. I don't know. I mean, at this point, I don't know what I'd be wearing at that point. But two things you can't ignore. Number one, Kevin Durant had the thickest, not the longest, the thickest tendon in the body snap and roll up like a lampshade. When he gets back, he'll be 32. The talented, although at times petulant, quirky, odd point guard, who was an out-of-this-world talent, is now there without Kevin Durant for the first season. So even though Durant's there, he's not playing. Listen, I'm not trying to stifle the Nets' enthusiasm. It's a move that if I owned the Nets, I would have done it as well for sure. But there's no guarantee that this lines up the way Net fans think it might.
No, it doesn't make anything definitive in the East, especially not in 2019, 2020. I mean, because there's some good role players there. Joe Harris, my dude from Virginia.
You always got a reference. Meanwhile, Joe's like fourth on the list.
I agree,
let's be honest. Joe's good.
He's a really good shooter. You know that, right? Karis LeVert had a really good season after coming back from injury. Spencer Dinwiddie stayed.
Love Spencer Dinwiddie.
They get DeAndre Jordan. What the hell that does for them, not quite sure.
Probably got Durant because they're buddies, and he squeezed out the extra millions to get him $10 million per year for $3 a pop. For 3 years.
Look, if that works, if that's what got you KD, then I guess it's worth it.
And by the way, the guy in front of him, Allen, is good.
Exactly.
And better than DeAndre Jordan, so they have depth.
But I think the biggest thing when you look at the Nets, BT, is that last year they made the playoffs. They were 6th seed, just a couple games over 500. didn't blow anybody away. They won 42 games last year. But they were a 6th seed. They made the playoffs without an all-star, right? So we knew the culture. We talked about it a lot during the season. And Kenny Atkinson, as we mentioned many times, did a great job down there. And I think also we saw this right at the beginning of the postseason when they cleared that space. They showed a competency in their front office, right, to open up 2 max slots for whatever superstar wanted to go. And so it was like an audition. Like 2018-19 was like an audition for the Brooklyn Nets, I should say. And come to us, right? We're competent. We're going to build space for superstars to grow into something here. We got some good young players here. If you come join us, we can dominate this market because the Knicks aren't going anywhere. And I think it worked for them in a way that kind of caught people off guard. But when you really look at it, it shouldn't have caught us off guard that the Nets were able to make this happen.
Well, I still think if Kevin Durant's healthy, he's not playing there. I'll always believe that because I think the injury changed the entire dynamic to the point where, and I think this is a fair way to look at it, once Kevin Durant was out next season, let's face it, the leverage and the juice card kind of went back to Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
Or not went to Kyrie Irving. Because I really believe that Kevin Durant's calling the shots. And listen, not that Kyrie Irving's not his own man. Of course he is, but Kevin Durant's Kevin Durant. I will never know unless one of them says it.
We're never going to know unless he tells us, which he doesn't tell us these type of things. He keeps everything close to the vest, but I mean, I guess New York was in play, but was it ever really in play?
Sure, I think it was. I do.
I mean, I want to believe that it was, but...
See, it's impossible to do the first segment without talking about the Knicks. As much as I'm trying to kick this down the road, you're going to start revving me up now. Because now the more I keep hearing the word Knicks, I'm going to have to start jumping in here and going nuts.
It's not necessarily about the Knicks. I'm talking about from KD's
No, I know what you're talking about.
Like KD's real. You know what I mean? He's complicated.
Mm-hmm. So is Kyrie.
Just like Kyrie, which may be why they get along so well. They have these deep, philosophical, probably non-basketball conversations when they talk. They're not even talking about games. They're just talking about whatever. But so that's it's indicative of why they're good friends. But Kyrie was never going to the Knicks, right?
How do you know?
I don't. I don't know.
Just like I don't know for sure that he certainly was. You don't know for sure that he certainly wasn't. We don't know.
It just didn't feel like his place.
But did you think that he was going to be a Net 2 months ago? There's no way you thought he was going to be a Net 2 months ago.
To be honest with you, BT, when he fired his agent and switched to Rock Nation, it kind of made me think this is a Nets play. Whenever I think of Rock Nation, the first thing I think about is Brooklyn. The Brooklyn Nets. It's the connection. It's the sports and entertainment property that Jay-Z envisioned 5 or 6 years ago when this, or how long ago?
I think it was more than that.
Maybe it was. Maybe it was almost a decade ago, whatever it was.
I'd say probably about 7 years, roughly,
That's what he envisioned.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Whenever I hear Rock Nation, I think Brooklyn.
I don't disagree with that.
So when Kyrie fired his agent and hired Rock Nation to represent him, the first thing I thought was, he wants to go to Brooklyn.
Yeah, he was also a Net fan growing up. You got to throw that in there. I mean, I know they didn't play in Brooklyn.
He's from Jersey.
He's from Jersey. And I think that was a part of it. Listen, the Eastern Conference is interesting. I mean, can we say with great clarity that the 76ers, let's throw them into the hopper here. We'll get, some of the teams that are, at least on paper, if they're healthy going into the season, will be vying for for supremacy in the upper part of the Eastern Conference. I mean, I like Al Horford. Let's not overstate what Al Horford is.
Is he the difference maker?
And if he is, he better be the difference maker soon because Al Horford started to slow down a little bit. Al's been around a long time.
12 seasons he's been around. Is he knocking down 43% from three-point range? Because that's what they need.
Yeah.
And they kind of didn't get that.
Did they overpay for Havers? Yeah, they probably did. Is Simmons hitting jump shots right now as we speak? I don't know.
Nope.
And if he's not, does it really matter? What Al Horford brings to the table. The Celtics, they recovered nicely. They get Kemba.
Yep.
All right, good for them. The Nets, we touched on them. The Pacers are interesting. The Bucks retained almost all their more than I think it was a quartet. I mean, really 4 guys could have mounted. Lopez is going to get the $52 million. Middleton's back. Brogdon's gone. I think there was a 4th too. Or at least 3 players, and I thought they handled their business well. I think it's incredibly unpredictable. I think the Sixers will lament losing J.J. Redick, especially for the amount of money that, listen, throw the Pelicans on the table for a moment. What the Pelicans have done in 3 weeks, certain franchises can't do in 3 decades, like the Knicks.
Yeah.
Think about what. Now, they got lucky with the first pick.
Yep.
That's not talent. That's randomness.
It is what it is, but then you still got to do the AD deal.
Yes,
Anthony
you do.
Davis deal with the Lakers that netted you 4 players, right? 3 players and 3 draft picks, 3 first-round draft picks, including this year's. Mm-hmm. It's a big deal.
Yeah, Redick made $20 million last season, by the way. He's getting 13 apiece for 2.
Yep, now
that's perfect for that team.
He goes down there. They're young.
Yeah.
They're not winning right away, but could they sneak in an 8 seed? Maybe.
Oh, they're absolutely a playoff team. They could sneak in as a 5 seed.
Yeah, and who knows? It just feels right down there. It feels like, okay.
Yeah.
I get we lost AD, but I'm all right.
We're okay. No, we're okay. It was craziness. It really was. I'll tell you who had a really good day, by the way. Woj is the man. There's no doubt. We know that. But had a great day reporting?
Who's that?
Mark Stein. Mark Stein may have been, dare I say, a half a step ahead of Woj.
Yeah.
Mark Stein from the New York Times was phenomenal.
Yeah, Mark Stein.
He was popping everything.
We mentioned briefly after Kevin Durant announced that he was going to Brooklyn, the Warriors jumped real quick. Signed a trade with DAngelo Russell. It was a $117 million deal that I think he did. Mark Stein came out right away. He doesn't fit this system at all. This is the Warriors being smart, getting an asset back for KD in a sense. Mm-hmm. But then they're going to flip him in however long it takes, February, whenever Klay Thompson gets back. Because when Klay Thompson's back on the Golden State Warriors, DeAngelo Russell has no place other than coming off the bench.
Oh, I don't know if I agree with that. Why would you say that? Who else is going to shoot on the team?
You got 2 of the best shooters in the history of the game.
DeAngelo Russell averaged 23 points a game.
But where's he playing? Where's he playing?
Go to a 3-guard alignment.
There's no way.
Why not?
No way.
Clay's 6'7". He can play. He plays forward at the time.
The big look at the teams that are what teams.
I love what the Warriors did. I know it might not seem to be a conventional fit.
Yeah,
but that's the kind of culture you get him in there. I would take my chances with that working.
He
until it doesn't.
He doesn't shoot. It's not like he shoots like Klay Thompson or
no. He's not that kind of shooter.
He can't score at the rim.
But
he developed into a good player, really good player last season in Brooklyn. And again, a lot of that was probably coaching in the environment that they had out there. But I don't know. It's just there's a lot of question marks with DeAngelo Russell, which I don't know if it makes sense for the Golden State Warriors to hang on to him. And Mark Stein is the one that pointed it out, to your point.
Well, he also had a lot of Knicks and he had a lot of Durant stuff. I was retweeting him. Again, I love Woj. Woj is the man, but you want to certainly tip the cap to guys who get in there, and I'm sure others had some news. But, I'm at the big 3. I'm like, I got to go interview LL Cool J. I'm like, what's going on with this NBA free agency? What's going on here? And, hey, listen, I'm okay. Do I seem broken up today? I'm fine. All these
You've resigned.
No. It's the opposite of resignation. It's actually optimism.
Right, we'll get into it.
We'll get into it, but I want to get into this coming up. Before all of that, did the Knicks really not offer him the max? Is that what's out there? Is that actually true?